Hello everybody, my name's Glenn Gilchrist and today's Excel function of the day is the count and CountIF statement. You can find me on Twitter at MrGPG or online on glengilchrist.co.uk. So, Excel function of the day, count and CountIF. Similar data as we looked at before, which is some student data showing sex and levels. One of the questions we often have to ask is how many students got a certain level. So we could start by highlighting the data and using the drop-down box at the bottom to select count, which shows me that there are 21 items of data in this list. Now that's okay until I sort the list or move data around, and then that number will change and I've got to go through the process again. So it's much better if we can get Excel to calculate a count. So my overall count is equals count, and I'm going to drag out the range that's got the count details in. It should tell me that there are 21, which it does. Now the beauty of a count statement is, if I remove the data so there's a blank cell, it won't count that cell and it'll only say there's 20. And if I put text in the cell, it'll still count as 20. So count calculates or counts the number of numeric pieces of data in a list. The very next question we ask after we've counted something is, what about counting the number of level 3s? Now from the list, there are 2 level 3s. And I guess we could do this visually, but as we go through the year and data changes, we'd have to keep on recalculating things. So one of the nice additional features of count is CountIF. And the CountIF statement counts the numbers if a particular criteria is true. So if I highlight the data, there's the range B2 to B22. Now I'm going to drag this across in a moment. So as I drag it across, the B's will change into C's and D's and so on and so forth. So I'm going to anchor them with the dollar sign as we used previously. So $B, $2, $B, $22. Press comma at the end of it, and my criteria is that it equals what's here now in F1. I'm going to press return, and it'll tell me that there are 2 level 3s. Now if I drag this formula across into the next cell, the F1 will become a G1, and a H1, and an I1. So instantly I've counted the number of levels 3, 4, 5 and 6. And we can test if this is working by imagining we're going through the year and this level 3 has become a level 4. And you can see the counting is being done automatically to reflect the changes that I'm making in the data. One of the things we should really do though is include a sum statement at the end to demonstrate that all of the data adds up to 21, showing that we haven't missed anything. Because what if this person here, this girl, gets a level 7? Actually, it then doesn't add up because we don't have a box for a level 7. So we know something's gone wrong with our data. So I'll put that back to a 6 for right now. I'll get rid of the checking. The next thing we might want to ask is, can we count the number of males and the number of females in this data set? In a similar way, I can use the CountIF statement. And the range is the range that's got the male and female data in. But bearing in mind, the next question we might want to ask is, can we count the number of males and females? So I'm going to insert a CountIF here, and I'm going to drag out the data, and I'm going to say, this time A2 to A22, and the cell that I want to check here is in D4. I'm going to close the bracket. But of course in a moment I'm going to pull this formula down, so that my D4 becomes a D5. So I want to do the similar thing as I did last time by locking the cell references for where the data is contained, the range. So there are 14 males. I drag this down now into females. It should tell me there are 7, because 7 plus 14 is 21. Absolutely fantastic. So far I've used count and CountIF. I can go one step further. What if I want to know how many males got a level 3? So if you like, there's two if statements, isn't there? Count if they're a male and count if they got a level 3. Fortunately, there's a formula for that in Excel. It's CountIFs, multiple if statements. So in the same way, I'm going to drag out my range for my sex, and I'm going to say they equal male. That's the first set of criteria. And then I'm going to drag out another range, which contains the level, and I'm going to say the level is up here in F1. And I'm going to close the bracket. Now, before I finish the formula off and press return, I'm going to lock some things so the numbers don't change. So I'm going to stick my $sign in front of the numbers here, so when I drag the columns across, the A's don't change. Now, D4 contains my sex, so I don't want that to change either. B2 and 22 is the other range, I don't want that to change. But I do want the F1 to become G1 and so on. So that's my formula right now with all my ranges locked, and I'm going to press return. Tells me there are 2 level 3s. If I drag the data across, it should give me the scores, the number and the counts for all of the males at the different levels. Now I need to do a similar thing now by taking this cell here and dragging it down to calculate the number of the ladies, the female data. If I drag this cell down though here, I need to start referring to not D4 but D5. So if I drag it down, it won't be correct, but I'm going to go back in here and make the formula refer to D5. There are still 0 females getting a level 3. Now I'm going to drag it across, and it should now tell me how that's gone for all of the others. But now if you remember, we dragged down from here to here, so the formula that was referring back here to level 3 has gone down to be F2. So I'm going to make certain I go back in the formula and edit it to say F1. And I'm now going to drag that formula across. So it should say that there are, well, in total, we should be able to highlight all of these, and it should tell me that the total count, total sum of those numbers is 21, which it does. So we've now managed to break down the data into sex and level by using this CountIF statement, or CountIFs. Much quicker than sorting the data, much quicker than manually having to recalculate the data. So they've been the Excel functions of the day today. We've used count and CountIF. If you liked this video, please comment, like and rate below. Thank you.